Hello, students. This morning we are going to learn about the components of literary analysis. We have a question here. Why does the word analysis strike fear into the hearts of so many college students like you? And what the heck is literary analysis anyway? This morning we are going to learn on what is literary analysis or what is analysis and what are the different components of literary analysis and how to make a literary analysis essay, right? Before we go before we dive into uh, the literary analysis strategy, it is important to note that an analysis is not a summary. An analysis requires a lot from you. Your professor can always read a book, but the book that you're analyzing, so you don't have to recount the plot. Instead, your job in analyzing is to make a claim or thesis about the text or the story that you have read and to spend your essay supporting your ideas. Remember that you need to make a claim, you need to make a thesis. And the purpose of literary analysis essay or literary analysis is to carefully examine a work of literature, especially for a short story, or it's very famous for a short story. It could be a poem, it could be a movie, because some of the movies were transformed to is coming from a certain book or a novel. And then literary analysis is not a judgment. When you analyze something, you are not judging. You are not reading. You are not analyzing it because you want to prove that the author is wrong. No, that's not the sense of literary analysis. Rather, we are having literary analysis or literary criticism in order for us to make a secondary source. The first source is the text that you are reading, the short story, the author, and then the second source is your interpretation, is your meaning out from the author's idea, from the original. So again, literary analysis is not giving judgment whether the author is wrong, whether the author is right. This is making a secondary source out from the original. Okay? In doing analysis, you should provide argument because argument, this is where your supporting ideas um, to come up or to put in with your thesis statement. Okay, so in doing this analysis or literary analysis, there are some reminders that we need to bear in mind in having a smart literary analysis. There are eight, but I will just present to you the three. Of course, we have to be familiar with the elements. We have to know if what we are reading is a short story or whether it is a poem, or it is a novel, or it is a movie. We have to know the elements. Going back to fiction, there are a lot of elements of fiction or elements of short story. Could have the plot, the sequence of events, could be the characters, could be the setting, it could be the conflict. And we will make another video for that one explaining to you what are the different elements of fiction or short story. And then the second one is you have to focus on the literary devices. You have to look for the symbols, you have to look for, if that is a poem, you have to look for the imagery, and you need to look um, vigilant on the different figurative languages or metaphors that are present in the story. And the next one, of course, our previous topic, you need to take a critical approach or the reading approach because the entire composition, the entire essay would revolve on what particular approach that you will be using. Okay, I will make another video for critical approach. When we say approach, these are the lenses on how you see a certain story. Imagine that you are wearing a glass or eyeglasses. If he or she is wearing this kind of grade, he might see something that you can't see. So that's the purpose of critical approach. If you are going to use formalism in this particular literary piece, this is the meaning using formalism, and this is the meaning as well if you use sociocultural or if you use biographical. So different approach, different meaning of the text, of the story that you are reading. All right, in here, since we are writing an essay, of course, an essay it has parts. Mainly three parts. We have introduction, body, and conclusion. But of course, in having the literary analysis, you need to make a title. A title should um tells what is your topic will going to be about. It should be catchy that if I am the reader, I could say, oh, I have to read this one because it catches my attention. And it could be, and the most important thing for a title is you have to think of a title other than the title of the piece that you are reading, the title that summarizes or speaks about the entirety of your essay. Okay? And then this is the first part. The first paragraph of your essay should the introduction. The introduction um, comprise comprises with hook. The introduction to your literary essay should try to capture the reader's interest. Okay, and how to do it? It should bring immediate focus to your subject. It could have, you may start your hook with a certain quotation, or it could be a provocative question. It could be a brief anecdote that would somehow speak on the story. It could be a startling statement, or it could be a quote, or it could be a combination of the mentioned way. It could be combination of these that foretell what your essay is going to be about. Next to the hook, that is the first statement in your introduction. Next to your hook is you have to write the title and the author of the story, or maybe you can include the topic. And then next is to have, or it could be you have to include the main characters, especially the protagonist and the antagonist. And next is you have to make a brief or short summary of the story that you have just read. And then the last statement of your introduction is your thesis statement. Your thesis statement basically tells your reader about your claim or stand about your opinion on the text or on the story that you have just read. This is going to be your map in your whole writing. In here, in the last statement of your introduction, you have to put your reasons why your reasons on your claim, or what are your reasons why did you say this particular opinion about the story that you have just read. And next is the body paragraph. In this section, you present the paragraph at least. This is the minimum requirement. At least three paragraphs for about 500 to 750 words that support your thesis statement. Okay, so you have here from the thesis statement, reason number one, because in the thesis statement, you have to state three reasons. Why did you say, or why did you have that certain claim? So the first paragraph of your body states the first reason. And then, good literary analysis essay contain an explanation of your ideas and evidence from the text. In writing your body, You have to start with the first reason from your thesis statement on the first sentence. And then you have to cite some evidences from the story, and later part of that you have to explain those evidences. And at the last part of your first body is the concluding statement about the main idea that you have laid down in the first paragraph. And if you have three reasons there from the thesis statement, this could be your body should be three paragraph as well, because that is a minimum requirement for a certain literary essay to have a three, at least three paragraph containing 500 to 750 words. So all you have to do is to repeat the process of what you did in the paragraph, body paragraph number one, and then you have to uh, do it in the body paragraph 2, stating the reason number 2 from the thesis statement. And then down to paragraph 3. But if you have just presented two reasons in the thesis statement, then that could be you have the two body paragraph. And then the last one is the conclusion. Okay? In doing your conclusion and writing your concluding paragraph gives your essay a sense of completeness. Your readers know that they have come to end of your paper. Right? Maybe when we write, it is easy for us to write the beginning and then later on, we find it hard to finish it. So it is required that our essay, literary essay, should have a concluding paragraph from the word conclude. What will you do when you conclude? Your concluding paragraph might restate the thesis statement that you did in the introduction, and then you summarize the main points. He summarizes each body points, and of course, um, it could you could have a comment, relevant comment on the literary work that you are analyzing, uh, but from a different perspective. Different perspective means that different from what the author is saying. And this is the most important thing. Do not introduce a new topic in your conclusion because you are about to end your essay. So no need to introduce another topic because you are about to close the topic that you had during the first writing, during your introduction and then the body paragraph. Your conclusion paragraph, in short, is just a reinstatement, is just a restatement of what are your main ideas that you have said, that you have write in the earlier part. Okay, so this is the way on how you arrange your literary essay, and for you to have a complete understanding of how it is done, I have here a sample literary essay that you can you can have this as an example or basis on how to write your own. All right. So I have here a sample literary essay on the story, the short story, The Lottery. Okay. So the first part, during our previous discussion, we need to have a catchy title. A catchy title that would somehow tells our reader on what is this writing, what is this literary essay all about. You don't need to put the title of the story that you have just read. You need to think of other things that would somehow represent on what is your work all about. So I have here the winners lose. You will understand why the winners lose. Sometimes, if you are the winners, of course, you have to think of, yes, I am the winner, but this time, this is the exactly opposite. The winner is losing. Okay? So the first part, the yellow one here, tradition becomes our blind security. So this is the hook If you are the reader, you would, if you read the first sentence, you would think, why is a tradition becomes our blind security? So it arouses your curiosity that you have to read. You have to continue uh, reading the entire essay. So this one here, the yellow one, is the statement. Okay. And then the green one, the highlighted green, the next part is mentioning. In your introduction, you have to mention um, the title of the piece that you are reading. Could have it could be the author and the author of the short story. As much as possible, if you can find the year when it was published, you have to include it. So you have here the lottery published in New York, a Yorker, on June 29, 1948, by Shirley Jackson, the author. Okay, and then a little bit of background about the author. All right. But depending on the approach that you will be using. The next one, the highlight, the blue, this is um, a summary of summary of what is the story all about. The most important thing here to remember when putting the summary is you don't have to tell the ending of the story. All you need to do is to present to them what the story looks like or what is the story all about. No need to put the ending because it will ruin the curiosity, the excitement of our readers. And then the last statement here, the in short story, this is a statement. Okay, this is the claim here, the red one. It shows that humans or us will blindly follow meaningless traditions, and somehow it is true. There are a lot of traditions that we are following, especially here in Philippines, and then we don't know what are the meanings of this tradition, but we keep on following it. So this is the claim: humans will blindly follow meaningless tradition. So that's the claim. That's the claim of the writer. So why? Why did it say so? Because of the different symbols. So you have here the reason. It uses the black box. It uses the character here that would have a symbol, Stacy Hutchinson, and then the old man Warner. So these are the three reasons why did the author of this particular essay claims that we humans are blinded with our meaningless traditions. Okay, let's move on with our first paragraph. The the second paragraph, I mean, the body paragraph, the first paragraph of our body paragraph. The first paragraph should speak on your first reason. So what is the first reason in the thesis statement? So you have here, it uses the black box. So as you can see, in the first statement mentioned here, it says here, the black box is the box that names are picked out of the lottery every time the lottery takes place. So it represents here is the symbolism of the black box. The yellow one is the symbolism of the black box. Why did um, the author said that humans will blindly follow, meaning mm, mm, that humans will blindly follow meaningless traditions because the black box represents the tradition of the lottery and the illogical sentimentality of the villagers' loyalty to it. So that would support this is now the main idea of the reason number one. So this is now the topic sentence of your paragraph one. Body paragraph 1. Okay? The next sentences are these are your evidences. These are the evidence that you can take or that you took from the story that you have just read. So here, the black box until here, these are the evidence and the explanation on the evidence. The black box was mentioned several times in the story in detail, and people did not want to get a new box even though it was shabby and worn out. So up here, as you can see, there is a direct quotation from the short story. So these are the evidences, and later on, these are the explanation on the evidences that the author laid down into this essay. And then, as you can see, the last statement of the paragraph of the body paragraph number one sum up the idea that the black box represents the illogical sentimentality of the villagers. It says that it is a ritual to use black box every year, thus making it a tradition that villagers follow. So this statement here supports the claim or the main paragraph that the main idea in the main idea that was written in the first sentence. Okay, so the same process goes to body paragraph number two, and then the body paragraph number three. Okay, so in the thesis statement, it was mentioned Tessie. So here, um, it explained or it elaborates why Tessie Hutchinson symbolize our our meaningless tradition. We have here in the first paragraph, Tessie symbolizes the mass of people who never question injustice in the society until it affects them personally. So maybe Tessie represents ourselves because there are times that even though it is wrong, but we keep to be blind because we are not the ones who are affected. And then if we are the ones affected, so that's the time that we will say something we will do. I'm sure we will do a lot of a criticism on this particular thing because we are the one affected. But if you are not affected, if you are not the victim, you will not say anything at all. Okay, and then same goes with paragraph number three. The same process. The last statement of your paragraph should always support or should always go back to what you have laid out in the first sentence of your paragraph. It will always support. And then, as what I have said, your essay should have a concluding paragraph, and the green one here, the last part, is a concluding paragraph that will give your essay a sense of completeness and lets your reader to say that this is the end of your composition or of the paper. So as you can see, um, it only or yes, it only summarizes the points that were laid down in the previous paragraph. So here it mentioned Tessie symbolizes the people who did not question tradition, and then the old man and the black box. So you have here, this is just mainly a repetition, restatement, and paraphrased idea on the previous one of the extended idea that you have presented in your body paragraph. Okay, so this is an example of how you write your literary essay.